Welcome to iHollywood Television. I'm Noah Wilson, and in this episode, we are taking you behind the scenes and into the movie of Universal Pictures' Black Phone 2, releasing in theaters this spooky season on October 17th. 4 years ago, 13-year-old Finn killed his abductor and escaped, becoming the sole survivor of the grabber. But true evil transcends death, and the phone is yet ringing once again. Here is your first look with the cast and crew.
Finney's an angry dude. He's an angry guy. He's even from the first movie, he's been such a complex character, and even more so now. And it's just a whole journey of him deciding whether or not he wants to face the grabber or not.
He's become even more monstrous. We've amplified everything that was awful about the grabber, and now this is who the grabber is as a supernatural creature, and he's a truly terrifying beast of nothing but rage and sadism.
Hello, Finney.
What do you want? Ethan Hawke. He's an idol of mine. Working with him, just seeing him, he walks on set and he first take just nails it. Just like that. And the choices he makes, it's inspiring. And, for my first job working with him on the first Black Phone, it was such an experience, and it taught me, I want to get better and learn from my craft. So getting a second chance at working with him was just such an experience, and I'm so grateful for it. But he's incredible, and seeing him back as the grabber is terrifying and awesome.
Hello?
You have to hide.
Gwen has these dreams, or visions, you could call them, and they help her see the future sometimes, and also she's able to see things from the past and also talk to dead people.
Gwen is the funniest character. She's so snarky. She knows who she is. At least from the first movie, she already knew who she was. She was so strong, and in this movie, it's 10 times that. And getting to see Maddie back as Gwen is so cool. And her snarkiness is just still there. Somebody says something, she punches back, and, seeing her up against the grabber really tests Gwen, tests her strength.
The grabber is played by the one and only Ethan Hawke. It's really awesome because I didn't get to work with him at all in the first movie, and in this movie we have a lot of scenes together, and working with him is so awesome. When I first saw him come onto set, I was kind of in awe because it's Ethan Hawke, and he was so supportive and so kind to me in between every single take. Always made sure that I was okay and would always give me fist bumps and high fives. He was like, "That was so good, Maddie," or yeah, and we just kind of whenever the cameras weren't rolling, he'd kind of just be whistling and singing. And it's just so weird seeing him go from this terrifying, psychotic grabber who literally kills people to just Ethan whistling, walking around on set, talking to Scott and hanging out with everyone. But yeah, it's just really cool because I feel like you can learn so much from working with incredible actors like that.
What I love about this movie is that it doesn't just tell another scary story. It peels back the layers of what we have already learned. We get to explore Finney and Gwen's family, the trauma they've inherited, and how there is more connecting them to the grabber than they may have realized.
I was so curious on how they were gonna even make a second one, since the first one was so good. It's the grabber died. Did he die? We never seen his body, I don't know. So when I actually got the email and I seen Black Phone 2 and I started reading the script, every page was just truly a masterpiece. I think Scott and Cargill really did a good job with this one, and everything about it. I really found myself to be going on this roller coaster of emotions where, you're scared. It's scary. In my opinion, I think this one is scarier than the first one. And, you have your funny moments, you have your romantic moments, you have your, then your really empathetic moments. And I just think overall this movie just really will resonate well with the audience.
I think Scott elevates his own bar. It was already high. on the first film. If you think about a second part of Black Phone 1, it's like, what would you do? You know, where are you gonna take it? And I think it's phenomenal what he did, you know, he created this entirely new world around the same characters, how he elevated the stakes in such a great level. And of course, you know, bringing new characters too. Thanks to that, I'm here. And I think it's a big plus, you know, it's a great thing. And I'm so lucky to have played Mando in this second story.
I think Black Phone 2 is a pretty uniquely disciplined and layered audio-visual experience. There's a lot of effort and detail in the look of the Super 8 film, what we did with the Super 8 film, how we integrated it with the digital photography of the movie, so that the visual experience of the movie it's not gonna look like another movie that you've seen. I don't think I've ever seen a movie in a theater with more Super 8 material in it than this one. And it's not just Super 8 material, it's very specific film stocks and very specific processing, very specific look that we wanted for the movie. And sonically, it's an extremely disciplined production also. My son Atticus Derrickson did the score, and the integration of the score and this expressive sound design, and the sound of the winter elements of the movie, the music that plays, some of the needle drops in it, all of that lends itself ultimately to a very cinematic experience.
Here at Blumhouse, we always say horror is better together. It's such a unique experience to be vulnerable with your friends, family, and a few complete strangers. Black Phone 2 is no exception. From the sound design, to the atmosphere, to the striking cinematography, it's the kind of movie that's just better in the dark, with a crowd, and nowhere to run.
Tell me why you're here.
Why do you think I'm here?
Coming up next, the cast and crew share thoughts on Mason Thames and Madeleine McGraw acting on screen in Black Phone 2 when iHollywood Television returns. Welcome back. We are giving you a behind-the-scenes look at the making of Universal Pictures' Black Phone 2. We recently sat down to speak with the cast and crew, and we asked them what it was like to see Mason and Madeleine get into character on the set of this project, and here is what they had to say, along with Mason and Madeleine touching on Scott Derrickson's strong directing skills.
Did you think our story was over? You're dead.
Gwen Blake is played by Madeleine McGraw, who is a lovely actress to work with. She's extremely talented. And I think her character is one of those characters in a horror film that just make you want to watch it again. You know, in the first one, she was my favorite character. And now, coming back as an older Gwen, we see the character development, and throughout the film, I don't want to use the word snarkier, because that was the word that was used in the script. That's exactly how they described Gwen. She comes back 4 years snarkier, 4 years wiser, but it's exactly that. Madeleine just did an absolutely, just a fantastic job of playing Gwen, and I think she's extremely talented.
Finn is played by Mason Thames, a great young actor we found in the first film who we are excited to work with again. And Finn is, Finn is struggling. He went through such a terrible experience. As much as it was a coming of age story in the first movie, as time has worn on, it's really messed with him. He came through it all right. He came through it strong. He, killed the grabber, but now that weighs on him, and it weighs on him every night, and he's haunted by the grabber, and he sees him everywhere he goes, and he's trying to numb himself to that with substance abuse.
I think that Mason, in just a couple of years, really grew into movie star, handsome, good looks. And so meeting Finn, I was very interested in how he would be processing what had happened to him still. And of course, the movie is about that fear that he has not been able to accept or process well, and that has turned to anger, and he has become a violent person himself, and has certain ideas about being fearless and fighting back the way he learned from his friend Robin in the first movie. That all gets sort of deconstructed as he goes along.
The grabber, you know, he also feels all these different emotions in this one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, being killed by Finney, he has all this anger and rage built up inside, and he wants to punish him in the worst way possible. So he goes after the thing that he cares about most, which
he
is
just wants
Gwen.
vengeance. And
he just, yeah.
If he tried to kill Finney, I don't think he'd care as much. You know, he's been through
wouldn't
so
punish
much
him
after
enough,
that.
yeah.
It wouldn't. It's not enough. And Grabber wants to take something from him that is irreplaceable,
Yeah.
and it's not life. Well, it is life. It's kind of the only life Finney has
Yeah.
left is his sister.
That's a great way to put it.
And I think that's such a sad, important part, because a big part of the story of these movies is the relationship between Finney and Gwen. It's kind of the heart of it all. And that's why I love these characters and why so many other people love the characters of this film. And yeah, it's heartbreaking. In the first movie, they had such a connection, and you know, they were so close and cared so deeply with each other, and it's the same here. But you know, Finney, after the first movie, has so much built up anger, and you know, even with his dad and everybody, you know, he doesn't, you know, he's not the same. There's not that lighthearted, you know, innocent kid anymore. You know, he was forced to grow up, but there's little moments with Gwen where, you know, that's where Finney shows his softness. That's where he really cares, is about his sister. He will lay down anything for her.
You've got a Freddy Krueger type, you know, back from the dead, vengeful ghost in a mask. And what Ethan brings to that trope is eloquence and intelligence and, you know, ferocity of language that is not something a lot of actors could pull off.
Scott he has such a unique vision for
Yeah.
this and these characters. And
He knows what he
and
wants,
this
which is
story.
really
He really
important,
does,
I feel, as a director.
and nothing is getting in his way. Once he's set on something, it's
He
fantastic
does not budge,
to watch.
and it's beautiful.
It's amazing. I mean, he knows this story, and he knows it so well, and he knows what he wants to do and how audiences will like it, and it's truly amazing, the arc of this movie. And
Yeah.
you know, it honors the original. Which is very
I feel like my favorite part is how he incorporated Super 8 into the second film. I feel like it is such a great way to differentiate when Gwen is dreaming and when she's not, you know, her REM self versus her actual self. It's so beautiful, and it came out so perfectly in the film, and it's so cinematically beautiful to watch.
And action. Gwen! Gwen, wake up! Gwen!
Bring a blanket,
Bring tissues.
and
I hope they get scared.
Yeah.
And I hope they feel all the emotion in this film,
Yeah.
because I feel like there is so much more emotion in it compared to the first one. I feel like you get to learn so much more about all these characters and all their different arcs, and you know, you kind of get to see where they've fallen after all this traumatic.
yeah, I mean, what drew me in, even for the first movie, of course it was a horror movie, but there's so much heart to it, and with these characters, and I think this one continues it and grows even more.
Yeah, it's not
So,
just about
yeah.
the grabber. It's not just about a serial killer.
No, it's
it
just
really
about
is
people.
about.
Yeah.
It's about Finney and Gwen's relationship, how they are the core and the heart of the film, and I think it's very important that people see that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I hope they love it.
Yeah.
Coming up next, we take you to the premiere of Black Phone 2 in Los Angeles when iHollywood Television returns. Welcome back. Now, the cast and crew came together to walk the carpet for the Black Phone 2 premiere in Los Angeles, and we were there to speak with the stars as they arrived on the carpet. Here is a look inside.
This is my third film with Scott Derrickson and Cargill, the writer-director team. And they know so much about this genre. They love it so much that I feel like I'm getting to play rhythm guitar with the Beatles or something. They just, in this genre, they know, they're fantastic at it.
One of the chief reasons we wanted to make it was we had so much fun and really enjoyed making the first one with this team. And so we're like, if we could bring the whole team back, if we can get everyone, the kids, Ethan, everyone, then yeah, why wouldn't we want to do that again? And we were right. It was so much fun working with them all over again, getting to watch the kids having grown up over 3.5 years between shooting, having really come into their own and become amazing actors on their own, and getting to work with them again. Was just so much fun. So it was really great.
I always feel if you don't care about characters, then you don't care about the stunts. You don't, I mean, it's a lot of action movies and thrillers and scary movies, they kind of forget to make you care about the characters. And then it doesn't matter how many cool camera moves you have or how many neat things you blow up. I was really moved by these young people in the movie. I really was. I thought they were really beautiful. So when you care about them, then you want them to defeat the nemesis that I am.
It was honestly so great getting to see everyone again, and you're always so comfortable when you're working with people that you've worked with in the past. But Ethan, I didn't get to work with in the first movie, so it was awesome getting to work with him in this film, and he's such an incredible actor, and I feel like he inspired me in so many different ways. I feel like I learned so much from him, just being around him on set, really.
I love him so much, and he's such a fantastic actor. And this time it's like, it's all the worst parts of the Grabber brought back into a vengeful ghost, which he already had a lot of worse, horrible parts, so this is just the worst of the worst. So
I spent most of my time around Mason, Maddie, and Miguel, and I think I was just really taking in their sense of play on set. They always were so lively and upbeat, but then watching them in a scene, they'd switch, and suddenly they're fully grounded in just how terrifying this world really is. And I think it's easy to kind of, it's pretend, but they would really sit in the reality of that. And so I thought they were really brave, really fun, and just all around good people to work with.
The mask itself, offers some challenges because it looks good in a certain light. So we played a lot with that, depending on where we were in the story, how much we wanted to see him, and what sort of lighting we needed to sculpture on the mask to make him look menacing, the way he sounds and all that, bring it together.
As the guy who wrote the initial story of this, Joe Hill, who's a good friend of mine, as he said it better than anyone else. Horror isn't extreme sadism, it's extreme empathy. And the ability to relate to the characters in a horror movie is what makes us scared. In fact, there's two types of horror. There's empathetic horror and catharsis. And if we hate a character, we love watching them get killed. That's what works for so many slasher films.
I want to be a film director myself, and there's literally no better film school than working with Scott Derrickson. That is the film school, and I mean, working with him for like 4 months was such a cool experience. I learned so much from him and everybody on set, and he's such a passionate individual, and that's what I can really say about this film, is that this is not a money grab, the team behind this and the group of filmmakers and talent that are part of this film are truly just passionate, and you guys can really see that in this film.
The questions that may have been left over from the first film were ones that deal with really complex emotional issues. Also picking up with this family a few years later, after they went through an extraordinary amount of trauma, it's going to affect you very deeply. And so I think that Scott and Cargill did a really good job of finding the ways that they would be that experience would be impacting these characters several years later.
I'm excited to see what happens to Gwen, aka Maddie, because it seems like based on the trailer, she goes kind of down a dark path, and I'm intrigued. I want to see what happens, so I'm super excited.
Head to toe. I won't even tease it. I'll be honest. Head to toe blood. I literally had to shower in my trailer and to get all the blood off of me. It was so fun.
I'm telling you, man. I mean, that grabber, bad grabber. He can't behave. I mean, he's like a loose cannon. He's one of those actors that you always admired, and it's one of those names that whenever you see his name somewhere, you pay to see what he's doing. I saw him in theater in New York. I've been following his career ever since I got here, and it's an honor to be in the same film together.
We took a lot of risks with this one, and a lot of big leaps, and I think they were so great and were needed for this film to expand it and for these characters and for this world. And I think it's so incredible. I'm excited for people to see it, and I hope they like it. So I'm proud of it.
Well, we made it fun. We really wanted to make a fun movie. We love horror. We wanted to make the type of film that would make you jump out of your seat, that would get inside your head, that would just be fun to watch with your friends. I'm a big fan of the community aspect of film, that you go and you watch movies with friends, you have friends over to your house. I wanted to make a movie that kids on Saturday night would sit with a big bowl of popcorn on their couch and throw the popcorn in the air when a jump scared them, and we think we made that movie.
Don't miss Black Phone 2 in theaters this month. We will be back in a moment. Well, thank you all for joining us for a look inside the making of Black Phone 2. I hope you were able to learn so much more insight into the process of making such a masterpiece of a project like this one. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you back for more behind the scenes real soon. Bye for now.